The Planetologist skill tree is a vitally important 5th mentorship in Dune Awakening. It is wonderful for utility, durability, and farmers. This video will be going over getting it and all of the advanced quests to fully research Planetology. You start at the beginning in Haga Basin South in Channara's camp. This is where you'll find a bloke called Dereck, and he's in a bit of a pickle. It turns out he really needs these Imperial testing station records called Minimic films. His first quest requires you to go into testing station number 2, which is right below his camp. You've probably seen it. It has absolutely massive doors, and you'll have to retrieve his records for him and then bring them back to him so you can progress your quest. As if you do this for him, he will teach you Planetology. So you want to enter the station, and just before the end, you're going to go down this massive spiral staircase. You're then going to enter a room, and immediately on your right, there'll be a bright shining yellow light. Next to that yellow light is a yellow door handle, and it is the one you'll be wanting to open after you've taken down some enemies. If you ever see a yellow handle like this, it is a room usually where records are kept, so you'll be wanting to enter them. They're like secret doors. Once inside, you can head on in, and you're looking for a golden box with the records inside. It usually will have some Solari and the records as well. Now all you need to do is finish up the lab and go back to Dereck and give him the record. Back at Dereck's camp, we have a chat with him and we complete his first contract. This will give you the very basic Planetology skills that you need. You can have a chat with him and learn about the lore. And after that, you might think that's it, but it's not. It opens our entire quest chain, which is really cool, and there is a lot to do in Planetology. So where might we find Dereck next? Well, we're going to Imperial Testing Station number 197. It is a giant pit in the floor. The outside of the station is guarded by enemies, so you'll want to dispatch those, but once you're finished with that, you can jump down or climb down into the pit and find Dereck down there. What is he doing in a massive gaping pit? Who knows, but Dereck is where Dereck wants to be. If you're puzzled where to find him, you can usually locate him by his weird pole with the circle going around it, so that's a really good indicator where Dereck might be. Do note he will only appear if you've completed the first part of the Planetology quest. Have a chat with Dereck. He will tell you his dilemma that he needs records once again from this dangerous testing station. He is too meek and afraid to go and get them himself, so you're gonna have to be the capable one and go and get them record. In exchange, he'll teach you more about Planetology. Luckily, our films are actually in one of the first parts of the dungeon. I'm gonna let this part play out until we get to the room, so follow along. You're going to reach this green identification band, and you're going to turn immediately right into this room where you'll find a golden box with our films in there. And easy enough, you can go in and return to Dereck straight away. You don't even need to do the whole entire testing station if you don't want to. Having a word with Dereck, you hand over the films, and he doesn't want to teach you here because it's a bit of a chaotic learning environment. So once you're done chatting, you're going to have to go back to his old camp, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but okay Dereck, teach me some things. Heading back to Dereck in the Haga Basin South area, which we'll be doing a lot by the way. You want to have a chat with him and he will teach you about your next lesson in Planetology. You can also have a massive conversation with him. And oh boy do I mean massive, but it is pretty cool. Once you've had a natter with Dereck, he will give you the contract Adhering to Hierarchy, and you can be on your merry way to any kind of trade post in the Haga Basin. It can be anyone. You can go to Griffin's Reach, which is right next to Dereck's home. but you just need any of them. It doesn't matter which, just any trade post. We're going to find this helicopter lady in the corner, the ornithopter pilot, and you're going to have to pay some money to go to the social hubs, which will be Adhering we need today. So you're going to pay 2,500 to go to Adhering. You're going to arrive in Adhering, and then we're going to have to find Cyprian IO, which is a noble asshole. We're going to have to go to the Seleucian Ball to find him, so follow along the pathway to find Cyprian. You're going to have a chat with Cyprian, and he is going to completely misunderstand what you mean, and you can't correct yourself. He's going to tell you you'll never have access to Kynes research like Dereck wants because he is a complete asshole. So unfortunately, after you finish chatting with him, you're going to have to head back to Dereck and tell him the bad news, which of course is going to require you to go back to Hagar Basin and go to Chimera's camp. Chatting with Dereck, you make him relive some bad memories, and he gets very upsetty spaghetti, so you can't talk to him anymore past that, which means you get no more clues on where you're supposed to go. This is when you're supposed to go and start finding Dereck randomly in different testing stations around the world, or you just watch a tutorial to see where to find Dereck and it makes it a lot easier. We're going to Imperial Testing Station numbered 76, which is in the Jabal region, where you're going to walk in, and one of the first things you're going to see before the red hologram room is Dereck in a cage. Man got so upset he walked himself into the slavers, and he is now in prison, where he weirdly seems very content on staying in his jail cage while you go and have a look for his precious records in this Imperial testing station. You do you, Dereck. Either way, you're going to have a conversation with him, and you're going to have the contract called Science Unlocked, which is going to require you to go throughout the testing station and find another yellow door with the testing station records within them. This testing station is very long to do, so just keep doing it naturally until you get to this boss room and the room with the red foliage. Once you've reached these points, we'll continue from there, and I'll show you where to find the secret room and the keys. Now you've got the notes, we now need to go and get the keys, and it's not actually that far from here, so we're going to exit this window room and we're going to go through the blood door. The keys are on the table with a glowing light on top of them. You'll be able to find them if you use the quest marker up the top in your compass. It will lead you to the place you need to be if you're struggling to find it. Once you've gotten the records and the keys off the table, you're going to go past the red hologram and you're going to go back up to Dereck's cage, where you can go ahead and unlock it and of course give him the records so you can have a good look over them. Of course, he's not going to look over those records though when the enemy can come back anytime, so we're going back to Chimera's camp in Hagar Basin South, where we can talk to Dereck about what happened and what he has found in these records. Once you've had a chat with Dereck, he's going to give you another contract, which is the search for Kynes. This part actually requires you to go back to Adhering, so you're going to go to a trade post and visit the ornithopter pilot to go back to Adhering. Once you've arrived at the social hub, you'll be heading to the other far end of the social hub and outside by the ornithopter landing bay. This is where we're going to find an Atreides official so we can bring the reports to this man instead. Once you've met the Atreides official, you can have a conversation with him and he is going to do an answer for question basis type thing, where you can choose to deceive or answer him correctly. I will tell you, if you choose to deceive this man, you will not get the Dereck love options. Yes, apparently you can somewhat romance Dereck in this. Once you've completed your question roulette with this Atreides official, he is now going to give you a clue on where to go next to find out more about Kynes. And this place is in the far north of the Adhering, which is a very north location on the Hagar Basin map. It's a very pretty area, but we are looking for a crack in the wall that's kind of near the massive cactus area. It will have markings on the walls and be an absolutely massive split in the wall as well, so that's how you know it's Siege Tal. Once you've arrived, you want to step down off whatever vehicle you're riding and head on inside. You don't have to worry about fighting anything in here at all, it's just a kind of location research area. So you'll be walking through the cavern and towards the end where you'll find a big stone plate on the floor with the information that we want, which includes a little note from Kynes. This note you can go ahead and bring back to Dereck. I'm sure he would be very interested what this note contains, which of course means traveling back to Hagar Basin South and going to Channara's camp. Once you've arrived, you can have another conversation with Dereck and you can tell him all about the note so you can progress your quest even further. Once you finish speaking with Dereck, he's not going to give you much clue on where he's going next, so I can show you where you're going next. And it turns out you'll be heading back to Jabal because you're going to this testing station in the Hagar Rift called Imperial Testing Station number 29, which is down an absolutely massive hole. So once you've either gone down the hole or entered from the Hagar Rift area, you can find this absolutely massive cavern with an Imperial testing station at the bottom. Dereck is literally just tucked in the doorway and he's just hanging out here doing some research. Dereck's continuing his own research without the help of Cyprian IO because of course he's a massive asshole. Don't worry Dereck, we got your back. We'll help you get another piece of records for your collection. Thankfully, this next bit of video is nice and easy to edit because you'll be going to the loot room to get our next piece of testing station files. So you'll have to complete this testing station naturally and then get to this part with the loot room. Once you see this big shiny chest, you'll know you're in the right area, and we'll be heading north from there because the yellow room is just up through there, which makes it very easy to go and find and see. Unlike some of the other testing stations, you can go in here and pick up the records off the table. It is on the right hand side, and once again it will be in a golden loot box. Now on the piece of video here, I've already gotten it, so it's not in the box, but you will get it in that box. Once you've gotten the notes, you can go back to Dereck, who isn't that far away since the exit's quite near to him. Hand over the notes and you can have a chat with him. And of course, as you know it, he wants to meet you back at his camp in the Hagar Basin South. He's going to teach you the next level of planetology here, and then you'll have to go to somewhere else. Now this is the part of the video where it gets a bit complicated, and I'm not sure if Funcom have done this by mistake or what. I don't know if this bit is necessary, but I will tell you anyway just in case you get stuck and just in case it's like, oh, this is the thing I need. So in theory, you're not actually really supposed to go to this testing station. You're actually supposed to go to testing station 71 now. Weird thing for me though, I ended up getting the notes I needed in Imperial testing station number 142, which is just north of Pinnacle Station. It's an absolutely massive testing station and it will take a while to do, so we're going to skip ahead to the loot room because you can't miss it anyway. You'll have to go to the loot room so you won't miss a secret room or anything like that. But weirdly enough, once you've picked up your main chest and gotten the unique items and the little chest, right next to the little chest, I had one of these gold boxes in the side of the desk, which strangely contained the Imperial Testing Station records for number 71, which we are going to need. So if you don't find those notes in 71, you will be able to find them here. If it's working as it should do, you just need to go to testing station number 71, and that is in the Adhering in the southern section of it. You'll be heading into a camp like this, which is pretty heavily guarded on the outside as it has a couple of camps on the exterior. Inside this area, you can find Dereck, who is hanging out by his light pole, and he's going to have a conversation with you. He of course has another job for you, which requires you to pick up some notes, and I mean 2 sets of notes. You're going to need the testing station records and you're going to need to pick up some notes from Kynes. This requires you to go into this dungeon, and there is a lot of traps in this test station, so I'm going to warn you, there are a ton of explosive traps everywhere. So follow me and I'll lead you to the yellow door room, which we're going to need. Once we've arrived at the yellow door, this is where I think the contract is supposed to be, but for some reason it wasn't for me. So in case it is for you, they will be in this room where they're supposed to be. Of course for me, because I found them in a different location, I only have a bit of money in here, but if it is there for you, go ahead and pick it up at that gold box, and we need to continue on as there's another thing we need to find. Once you've completed this very weird BDSM looking red boss room thing, you go to the right hand side and there's this little cubby hole you can enter with a bookshelf, and on the bookshelf are some notes you're going to need to pick up for Dereck. Once you've gotten Dereck's notes, you head back to Dereck and you're going to give him the films. He is also going to ask for the films and the book here. So if you didn't get the book from this testing station, make sure you follow the first step and get it from there instead. Hoping it's fixed by then, but we will see. He's going to be very happy about these records, and we can continue on with our quest from there. Of course, we're going to have to go back and visit Dereck in Hangar Basin South at Chimera's camp to have a further conversation with him. So you're going to have to jump to the Ornithopter pilot at a trade post, and you're going to be going back to Adhering, where you'll be going back to Cyprian IO once again, who is up in the top of the Seleucian ball on a little throne, because he's an asshole. Where he's going to tell you this was all a ploy to bring you here so Dereck is not protected, because they are going to get rid of Dereck, which means you're going to have to run back to Dereck's camp and save him, as he is in a lot of trouble. So quickly head back to Hangar Basin South and you're going to go to Dereck's camp. Once you've arrived at Dereck's camp, you're going to go inside and you're going to find there is no Dereck. Oh no! Did they take Dereck already? Oh no! You're going to head outside and you're going to find on the right hand side there are some snipers and enemies that are positioned there to take down Dereck. Take out this lot of people, stand in the position where the marker tells you to, and the top of your screen is a compass. It will tell you the little contract mission location. For me, it wanted me to stand here for like a couple of seconds to register the next part of the contract, so there are another batch of these enemies we need to take down. From there, you're going to head to the northwest to a nice piece of high ground where you're going to find some more snipers positioned at. We want to make sure we take care of them so Dereck doesn't have to worry about a thing. Once you've dealt with those and you've gotten rid of them, you're going to head back to Dereck's camp to see if you can find any clue on where Dereck has gone, or if it's too late. We head into Dereck's camp and we go straight in there, and there's actually a note on the table that gives us clues on where to go next. Thankfully, it seems like he's okay, he's just busy in his work. So we're going to go back to the Udham and we're going to go to another testing station called Imperial Testing Station number 163. Dereck's hanging out here and he's looking after himself. He is an independent Dereck. No man's going to tell him what to do. No Cyprian IO is going to take him out. He is an absolute unit. He needs a favor from you though, so we're going to have to go and get some more things for him. He's going to give you a contract called the Final Piece, which is going to require you to find a purple hologram in this testing station, so let me show you the way to go. Once you've gotten your bracelet and you head into this locked room with the Penti shield, you're going to see this big purple hologram, and you interact with it to pick up the last notes that you need for Dereck. Once you've retrieved them, you can head back to Dereck. He's still where he was where you found him, and you can give him the notes. He is going to be very pleased, as this has given him a lot of information, and he is going to be extremely pleased with your progress. He is going to give you the Batite still suit garment, which is a little dodgy looking, and he's also going to unlock a Planetologist capstone skill for you. Either way, you'll be heading back to Dereck's camp in the south of Hagar Basin. As usual, you're always going to have to go back to Dereck. He can teach you best in this location, of course. And you're going to have a good conversation with him, because this is the final bit of the quest and you have completed the Planetologist quest line. You're going to wrap up your conversation with Dereck, any last lessons, any kind of dialogue, that's what you're going to wrap up. And then you should fully be done with Planetology. So now you can go into your skill window and you're going to see you've unlocked all the big boy capstones at the top. You're going to see you'll be able to level any of the extra perks that have 3 levels to them. You can level up whatever you like. It means you've unlocked all of Planetology, so you can now have some really cool skills. Either way, that is the Planetologist guide. I hope it helped you today. If it did, consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps my channel out. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out more guides on my channel. I have a lot of Dune Awakening ones ready for you to watch. But either way, thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!